What's up everybody, X12 here, and welcome back to another video. In this video you can see the back of my K40 laser. And as you can tell, there is no laser tube in there, and that is because the laser tube went bad. As you've seen by either of the two previous videos, it is now in this wood display case. So in front of me here I have a new laser tube from Light Object located in California, and it is supposed to be tested before it's shipped. So let's go ahead and pull the laser out, open this up, get it in, and see if it fixes my problem. Alright guys, so here everything is. This is the new laser, and I really hope there's just a lot of styrofoam and packaging in here to keep it safe. But let me just point out, don't mind the milk jug. That is for the water inlet and outlet in case anything was dripping. I didn't want it to run out on the floor. But the tube that came in this laser was 40 watts, sorry, and this is a 35 watt, but it's supposed to be more powerful, just the way they make them. So let's go ahead and open it up here and just find out. I do know that it is 2 millimeters longer than the one that was in the laser, so we may have to realign the mirrors so it fits, or it's shooting correctly. That's some really tough tape, or this is a really dull knife. Alright. Oh, there's a box inside of a box. And the box inside of this has Chinese writing on it, which kind of worries me a little bit because this is supposed to be made in California. All kinds of tape on it. Well, I definitely made sure this is sticking to it. That is one thing for certain. Try to get all of this off. I got it off. Let's pop that over there. And now we got to do the other end, but I think I'm going to cut it on this end so it's not quite so loud. I'm going to cut this tape here. It's stuck to my knife. Maybe this is the right laser tube that they were supposed to send. Alright. Now I've got some more tape on this box, and I'm not actually sure of which way this opens, but let's go with it right here. Up these sides. This laser tube is supposed to be pre-wired by their website, so if it isn't, we know we don't have the right thing. So let's see which side of this is the top here very carefully. Okay, there is that, and it is pre-wired. So let's see here. Do that. Alright, this is showing. Yeah, they do have it tested here. It was tested on the 24th of December, which is actually the day that I placed the order. 35 watts with a meter reading of 14 milliamps. So we don't, and 20 inches away. So that's really, really good. And there's a book in here. What is this? Let's open this book. I want to see what it is. I'm curious. This book says, okay, it just shows laser tubes on the bottom. If you can see, I know it gets kind of blurry when I get close to the camera, but I think it's like a logbook. I'm not sure. We'll set that up there though. Now this is the part that worries me a little bit because this tube was expensive. Okay, this is the end of it, and this is the water inlet. Okay, let me go into a little background while I open this on why it worries me. This red wire here on this laser, I'm not sure you can see it, but can carry up to 20,000 volts. And standard electrical tape is only rated for, well, about 600. And as you can see, they do have this in a silicone tube here. And that is for a reason, and that is because of the voltage. So what I'm going to do is solder these connections, and then I'm going to actually wrap them in a piece of 1/4 inch tubing with more electrical tape around it. That way it should not arc through the tubing, but it still could. But let's go ahead and pull out the laser itself and see if it fits. And if it fits, then we'll get to the wiring. So let's set it back in the box here very carefully. I just wanted to inspect it for cracks before I pull the laser out. So let's go ahead and pull the laser out. Alright guys, so here is the back of the laser cutter. So here's my high power wire on this laser, and it's not very long. So that has an extremely long one. I don't want to cut this one, and I don't really want to cut that one either. So what I want to do is put the laser in, and since I can move it, I will run the high power wire down and back. That way I won't have to cut it. And this blue is the low power, and it actually should not have very much charge on it. It is just a path to ground for the laser. If I can just get this little ball off of it, because the way these are wired, there's actually like a twist around the anode on the anode on the lasers. So now let's go ahead and push these wires back, and these are my water tubes, inlet and outlet. So let's go ahead and pick up the new tube here very carefully and make sure, let's see, well, I need that anode to be up, so we will do this. And it fits very well. It is a little more snug than the last one, but I'm going to have to angle it to be able to get my water tubes on it. So let's go ahead and see here. Actually, I'll pick this one up. I'm not worried about the inlet, but this outlet tube worries me. I'm actually going to have to cut this because I had to cut it to get it off of the other laser. I'm going to have to cut this end off right here, if I can. Yes. I'm going to go buy razor blades today, I believe. And I do have some more tubing that I can attach to this because I believe I'm going to have to, so that it is long enough. We want to very carefully push this on here. We don't want it to put a lot of pressure on the laser. So that one is on there now, and we've still got all of our wires, which is good. I've got those there, so now let's put the high power water inlet on, and let's see. I actually cut that one too. I don't really remember cutting this one, but apparently I did. So we will cut that and pull some tube up. I believe I will have to attach some more silicone tube that goes into the water reservoir, which is on the other side of the table. And this hose is being very stubborn. Very, very stubborn, actually. This laser tube is much higher quality than the other one, just from looking at it already. Much higher. I'm having a severe amount of trouble getting this tube on there. We'll worry about it later. So now I'm going to pull up this 15,000 volt wire here, just enough that I can reach it. I really want to put this tube on here now for some reason. It's aggravating me, it just doesn't want to go. It's like it's too big. But it's silicone, it should stretch around it. I may have to heat this tube up a little bit to get it on there. But don't need these anymore. Now let's make sure my brackets will fit. I guess I should go ahead and do that. And they are going to fit wonderfully. Now I don't remember which side of the laser these sticky pads were on, so I'm going to leave them on the bottom. There's actually a kink trying to form in my hose down here, which is something we can't have. Because with a kink there is insufficient flow, and with insufficient flow the laser will overheat. But let's put these on. Let me attach these brackets to the laser and I will come back whenever I'm ready to get the wires soldered up. Alright guys, so I've got the tube mounted and I've got both of the water lines on it. So I've actually changed how I'm going to do this just a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I have some shrink wrap here and I'm going to take a fairly long piece for this high voltage side. And I'm going to push it over the wire and then I will wrap this in electrical tape because that is what the online video said. So I'm going to twist these wires. Well, wait a minute. No, I'm not. I'm not going to twist them like that anyways. Let me pull those apart. I'm going to twist them like this. Twist these together. That way I can get some solder on them. And it looks like they're going to sit fairly still right there. So I've got my soldering iron right here. Let's see if it's hot yet. It is. So let's go ahead and dab a little bit of solder on here. There we go. Now we'll take and slide the shrink wrap over that connection. And now, I do know that this is not the proper way, but my heat gun has been missing, so I've just got to do this with the soldering iron. No, it's unfortunate. Could go get a hairdryer, I guess. I'm going to try a blowtorch. I'm just going to try to heat it a little bit with this. Yeah, this is working. Just don't want to point this at that tube. Here. I guess now is a good time to point out this laser is grounded, and in a few minutes I will show you the grounding connection whenever we turn it back around. I'm only going to solder this one on camera. I'm going to do the ground off camera because it's not so much to worry about. But go ahead and pull this tape, break it, twist it around, and that should be connected enough that it won't hurt anything. And I'm just going to stick it right down inside of it behind the water tube here. Just don't really like it touching the laser right there. But I don't think I'm going to have much of a choice. It's trying to choose where it's going. But it should be fine. The wire is touching the laser in other places too. So, let me do the ground. Alright guys, so I've got both of those soldered up. They're not just like I would like for them to be, but it's the best I can do with what I have to work with. So now there's a piece of solder there I've got to pick off. But now this is the top hinge that goes on this. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back on. I actually took it off while I was working on it. And right there like that. Push these, and now this closes down like so. I'm not going to put the screw in it just because I may need to get in there to adjust that mirror. But what I'm going to do now is go ahead and pull this the rest of the way out. Very carefully. Now I'm going to take out these wires here, or these hoses rather, which are still dripping just a little bit, and I'm going to spin this entire laser around. Something like that. Now if this will fit, you just seen my giant head, didn't you? I'll zoom out just a tiny bit. You can see that. And now if I stick this through here, this is my air assist. You actually probably can't see much more of it. But the yellow nylon hose that you've seen is the air assist on the nozzle. And that is good for cutting wood. It keeps it from scorching. But there's the air assist connected. So let's move to the back and put the other connections on it. Alright guys, so right here you can see the back of the laser, and it is a mess back here, believe it or not, but let's go ahead and connect it up. So here's the normal power cord, and it's not plugged in, so don't worry about that. That goes on. Now we've got this is a green ground wire that goes to a pipe that is grounded outside. Just in case this thing does arc, this should keep it from shocking me. Alright, so now the next thing we've got to do is this. Now this plugs right into the back of it. That is actually the water pump. Now I'm going to go to the other side of the laser. And these two tubes right here, I'm kind of crawling up under it. These two tubes run through this. It's just a rubber band suspension system. They run through that. And now the return tube goes into the right side of the bucket, and this one goes into the top of the pump. So as soon as I get my head around there where I can see it, I'll stick that into the pump. Down right there. Now I have managed to get water on my hands, so obviously I'm going to dry everything off before I even plug it in. But I've got slots cut in this lid for the tubes to sit in, and it should not be pinching it, but it is just a little bit. But I want to make sure that there is enough of that tube in there to spray the water back. So now that's all connected. Now the back of the laser's done. Let's go ahead and see if it'll fire. Alright guys, so as you can see, the laser is now on. Now what I'm doing here is for about 5 minutes, I'm just going to let it sit here idle with no power to the laser. And that is mostly to ensure that there are no air bubbles in the water going through the laser tube. Because if there is a bubble and it overheats, it can overheat within just a matter of seconds. It will crack. And I'm not sure if you know, but these tubes are very expensive. When you just have to put it in, it cracks, and then all of a sudden, oh, I gotta buy a new tube. So I'm just gonna let it run here and get all the air bubbles out, and I will probably do the first test fire of the laser off camera, just in case anything goes wrong. If it arcs and shocks me or anything, I'm just going to do it off camera, and I am going to have another person here because 15,000 volts is lethal. Now even though it's going to be on a very low power setting, it's still enough to seriously injure you. So I'm going to let this run. The other person's going to get here. I'm going to test fire it once, then I'll bring you guys back and we'll continue from there. Guys, so it's been running for a while. I have test fired it one time off camera and it did work. I'm going to test fire it again now. There are no air bubbles in the tube itself. So now what I'm going to do here is move this forwards and over just a little bit. That allows it to actually hit the cardboard. I'm going to turn my power indicator up to about a 5 there. If I turn the camera, you will be able to see that. I know it was blurry. But now what I'm going to do is hit the test fire switch on the laser, and assuming everything is correct again, it should make a dot on that cardboard and you should be able to see it fire. So laser switch and test fire. You should have been able to see that flash right there, but now we know for a fact that the laser is fixed. So let's do our first engraving with the computer. Alright guys, so all in all, that was a relatively simple fix to the laser. I'm going to talk a little bit about the initial problem I was having. So what happened was I was cutting out a piece of Luan, a couple millimeters thick, not very big, and it was going to be an SR71 Blackbird, like snapped together model that was actually on Thingiverse. I was cutting it, it was making the passes fine, made the first pass great. Second pass, it got about 3/4 of the way done, then the laser beam just went away. And I turned the power off to the laser as soon as the beam went away because I didn't know what had happened. And then later on, I tried to test fire the laser, and right here at this space where the cover for the laser tube actually is, I seen an arc. I mean, it was a blue arc. Like, it would have hurt if it would have actually shocked me. And I tested some things, found out the laser was still getting power, so I determined that the tube was bad, so I bought a new tube for it. We installed it in this video, and the laser is fixed. And I just laid it down somewhere, the piece that we actually just engraved, I laid it over there. But there is a picture inserted of it so you can see the little letter D. That's all I'm going to do with it now on the video until I can get a little bit more used to it using this new tube, because it's not using very much power at all whenever cutting stuff like, or engraving that cardboard. The meter on it was hardly moving at all. So anyways guys, remember to like, favorite, and subscribe. It really does help, and turn on the notification bell so you can get all the latest updates from the channel. If there's any specific videos you want to see with this laser cutter, just let me know and I'll do my best to get those for you. We can engrave anything, we can cut some stuff with it, make snap-togethers. We may even do a combination with the X-Carve and this. We can cut something out and then engrave it with this, so if somebody wanted, say, a plaque with their name, but they wanted it engraved instead of cut down in it, we can do that. But anyways, like I said, remember to like, favorite, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.